Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fit Chat. It is your boy Justice from Grill Intensity and Conditioning, and we are here to talk about eating for your goals. Yes, that is what today's topic is about, and we have an amazing guest that's going to be coming through. Listen, this is the month of March, right? So it is National Nutrition Month and it's National Women's Month. So guess what? Your boy had a chance to go out and find a person who was especially qualified for that task and for the questions that we're going to have today. Listen, we not only found a dietitian, registered dietitian. We also found a woman dietitian. So we're killing two birds with one stone, right? So listen, Jessica McAllister, our guest today, registered dietitian. Listen, she's been in the game for about 17 years. She has her own company called Dietitian Improved Nutrition LLC, where she is not only the owner, but she's the lead dietitian there who specializes in women's health and preventative nutrition. Right, she's also an author of Operation Nutrition, beginning to boss. I said that wrong. Beginner to boss. There we go. Because I messed up because I'm so thinking about that boss. It boss, capital letters BOOS, which stands for becoming our superior self. All right, so listen, she is not playing. She coming in here with some fire. So make sure you got your pencil and something to write on because she's gonna be dropping a whole bunch of nuggets because she has 17 years of experience. All right, over 17 years of experience. Look, and then on top of that, she's especially qualified for this task of today because she herself went through her own journey. All right, after she had her child, she gained about 80 pounds that she had to lose. So not only was she dealing with being a new mom, she was dealing with having a full-time job and trying to get in shape or get back in shape that she was before she had her child and she gained the weight. So she knows a little bit about being a woman. She knows a little bit about being a dietitian, but she also had to deal with becoming basically her own client, right? So doing that and growing from that, she wanted to share that with other people, especially women who might have been dealing with the same thing, going through the same struggle that she had to deal with. So, listen, we're gonna get right into it. We're not gonna take up too much of your time. Jessica McAllister and I are going to be talking about some difficulties and some differences between women and men, and some of the unique struggles that women have going forward that men might not have to deal with in trying to eat for your goals. So, with no further ado, let's get it going.
A certain time of the month where we're just not feeling great. We don't have the energy. We're, kind of in our feelings a little bit. And, last thing we want to do is go to the gym and have some man in our ear, yelling and talking about push, go harder, and all that. And same thing with eating. And so I think the bridge that I really focus on is knowing that, okay, certain times of the month, our diet does change and it can depend on hormonal shifts. So, where our bodies could tolerate higher amounts of carbs during a certain period, there might be times where we have to drop that a little bit, and that affects our energy. So when we go to the gym, we have to make sure that we're fueling ourselves properly with the right nutrients so that when we go into those workouts, we do have our best energy and we can actually physically finish those workouts and get better and get stronger. And then on the tail end of a workout, post workout, we want to make sure that we're refueling properly, getting those carbs back into our system, getting the protein that we need for muscle building. And again, that looks different for every woman, but generally those are kind of um, the patterns that we need to really focus on as women. And then not to mention, micronutrients such as magnesium. A lot of women don't get a whole lot of magnesium, and that helps to support our body's handling of physical stress. And so it's important that, we make sure not only if we're getting that in our diets, but at the same time, if we need to supplement, that we're supplementing appropriately. So those are just a few examples, but truly, I think not only the mentality that we go into when it comes to fitness differs between men and women, but certainly how we fuel that that transition differs.
Awesome, awesome. So, my big question, like I said, I want to talk about you today. So, I want to talk about you, what you're doing, what you have going on. So, let's talk about some of the things that you have developed to kind of help combat, or help in that journey that a lot of women are going to be facing.
Right. So I also noticed that, in my own personal journey and then working with my clients, that um, planning your food plan, your nutrition journey takes some effort. And there are a lot of tools and resources that are online, but I've not come across any one tool that pulls together everything that you need into one nice tight package, right? So, we say we need a meal plan. What does that look like? It involves choosing recipes or meals that you're going to eat, that you can shop for. The ingredients are practical. You can go to one store and get everything. That involves mapping that out on your week. So what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? And this all, ensures that we're successful in choosing those right foods, because if we don't plan, what do they say? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And that certainly applies to food. So, in that planning, taking that weekly plan, that meal plan, having your recipes available, knowing what you're going to eat, sticking to that plan. But then also, when it comes to looking at that plan, how do you know if it's working for you? Are we tracking our food to see if we're meeting our needs, if the food that we're eating is actually working for us or against us? And then, planning our day. That our day consists of so much more than just eating, right? So saying, okay, not only do I need to figure out when I'm going to eat these meals that I put on my plan, but what else do I have going on? Do I have meetings I have to go to? Do I have calls I have to be on? Do I have to pick the kids up from school? All of that. So what I did is I developed a 6-week um, planner, if you will, that incorporates all of that. So you have a section that outlines your meal plan. You have a section where you can identify your recipes and make a grocery list. You have a section where you can plan out your day-to-day activities. There's even a section that tracks your exercise, because that's important to plan too. So you have one book where you have all of these things. And then at the end of the week, you reflect back and say, okay, what went well this week that I need to keep? And what didn't go so well that I need to tweak and make changes to? And then as you're moving along your journey week to week, at the end of the 6 weeks, that's where you're tracking those things like, okay, did I meet my weight loss goal? Or did I want to improve my digestion goal or improve my energy goal, whatever that looks like. That's when you reflect on that and say, okay, I've got all these things that I have been doing, and now I know whether they're working or not. And I think that's one of the biggest things when I first take on clients is that, everyone's tried certain things, a lot of different things in order to be able to meet their health goals and specifically weight loss. But they're not real sure when you ask them, you know, what worked well for you and why it worked well. And so I think, again, having a tool that's kind of a one stop shop when it comes to that, where you can reflect back, know what works, and then just continue doing that for the long haul, then it sets you up for success.
Awesome, awesome. So this is it's interesting that you're kind of talking about some of the things that that women deal with, and kind of the differences that they face. But something that you said that you offer in your guide is the reflection portion.
Mhm.
And that stood out to me because that, for me as a trainer, that is a big thing. When I'm dealing with my clients, I'm like, hey, okay, let's go over what worked, what didn't work, what you did well, what you didn't do well, and even going into the side of the emotional side, where we're talking about how did you feel, not just that day, because that's a whole nother conversation. Like, how do you feel
Yeah.
that day? Do you feel sleepy? Do you feel tired? Do you feel stressful? It's going to
Yeah.
affect your workout. It's going to affect your progress. But also talking about how did the actual workout make you feel? Because
Mhm.
there's certain movements or certain things that if it's one thing to be challenged by an exercise, and it's another thing to feel discouraged by
Mhm.
exercise and feel like, man, this that's not working, and or my legs aren't as strong as they need to be, or my arms aren't strong, and you walk away in a more negative space than you were either when you came in. So um, being able to notice that stuff and being able to reflect back on those things, and even just be aware of those things, it kind of helps me as a trainer go forward and say, hey, okay, I have to find a different exercise that will work that same muscle group just as
Mhm.
well, but that they will feel more confident doing that, or feel more confident when they walk away doing that. So I think that's a huge thing, having a reflection section where it's talking about, hey, what worked, what didn't work, what foods might
Mhm.
have made me feel more bloated. you know,
Yeah.
I specifically bring that up because as a trainer, I deal with that. And I'm like, as a man, I'm like, hey, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I know we need to do these squats. And what are we going to do about that?
Right.
So I think that's really, really cool that you have that's just that section in there to give that opportunity to be able to look back on that. And it also gives, it also kind of puts it in your mind as you're going on your journey to be more aware of those things as you're going on that journey. Let me ask you, what do you feel like? Uh, what do you usually tell your clients when it comes to trying to encourage them to be more aware of their reactions, I guess, or their body's reaction to the foods?
Mhm. Um, that's a hard one because it puts us in a different space because again, everybody eats every day, right? And so it's one of those. It can go on autopilot if you let it, but again, if we want to be able to address things, like our energy, like our digestion, like our weight loss or gain or whatever it is, we have to have that kind of information in order to be able to properly address it. And so, what I usually tell my clients is it doesn't have to be anything extensive, but at the same time, you should want to learn about what's going on in your body because it's your body. You have to live in it. And so, creating that awareness around, okay, like you said, if I every time I eat X food, I feel bloated, and you notice the pattern, then we can say, okay, well, let's cut out that food, see if it helps, But if you just notice that you're bloated and don't really you can't really attribute it to anything in particular, then you're kind of shooting in the dark when it comes to this. You're trying to, cut this out, add this, change this, and you really don't know whether or not it'll work. So I think just in my experience with clients, once they really understand the purpose of tracking your food or tracking your exercise or both, and really taking a good solid look at that, and then knowing that that'll lead to some really, really strong results in the end, it motivates us to be able to do that, you know.
Awesome, awesome. And I think actually, like, I mean, basically piggybacking on what you said, knowing you get more encouraged, when you start to see like, okay, I'm knowing my body more, I'm understanding my body more, so I'm not, like you said, shooting in the dark, and I can kind of actually specifically and be more intentional, I guess I should say, with
Yeah.
the things that I'm putting in my body, and I have a reason and something backing that up, like, hey, no, I don't want to eat that because that's going to make my body react in this way, or no, I don't want to put that in my body because that's going to make my body react in this other way. So it kind of helps you be a little bit more intentional.
Hmm.
That's good. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Let's talk about um, one of the questions that we have. Um, One of the questions, as we're talking about eating for your goals, we're talking about different things to do and some of the things that you talk to your clients about. What, first of all, does the phrase "eating for your goal" mean to you?
Hmm. I think that's a really good question in the sense that it means something different for me personally than it does for me professionally, right? So eating for my goals personally means that, you know, whatever I choose to focus on. So if I'm focusing on my physical goals, then I'm making sure that my eating is tailored around that. If I'm eating for my mental health goals, my disciplinary goals, whatever it is, that's the framework in the foundation to how I choose to eat. So, when it comes to everybody else, it is actually pretty similar, So eating for your goals means that you're choosing intentionally a food plan that supports and is the foundation to whatever your goals may be. So again, if it's weight loss, then you want to make sure that when you're eating and when you're choosing a food plan to follow, that it's going to eventually lead you to that weight loss goal. And again, that looks different for everybody. And that's why it's so important to have, somebody on board like a dietitian that can help you figure out what that looks like for you. Because again, my eating goals for weight loss don't look like yours. We're literally two very different people in that sense. So again, I think it's just figuring out, okay, what are my goals? If weight loss is my goal, what action steps can I take to do that? And how does food play a role in that? What action steps as it relates to food do I need to take in order to get me in the direction of my goal?
Awesome. So what are some I guess what are some can you give me an example of say of a goal that might warrant different foods, different nutrition, a different route? Let's say that.
Mhm. Well, a pretty simple example is, if I have a weight loss goal, right, and I know that I'm inclined to be on the go a lot, and I tend to gravitate toward fast food restaurants, or I rarely cook, whatever. Then my food goal might not even be centered around specific foods that I choose. It just may be I need to cook more, or I need to figure out how to eat more at home versus eating out. Or if I eat out, I need to figure out what that looks like as far as my food choices are concerned. So, a lot of times, the most basic and really the most effective changes have very little to do with a menu per se, but more of how we navigate our days
Mm-hmm.
with food. So again, making sure that I'm eating more at home, or not eating so much fast food. That might be the initial goal for me. And then once I start doing that, because by nature, when we cook at home, we're making healthier choices typically, unless it's a lot of processed foods, but that's a whole different story. But at the same time, just naturally, we're eating a little bit healthier. And so then, if we're still not meeting our goal, our weight loss goal, then it's saying, okay, well, what about me eating at home? Can I tweak? Can I change? So it's kind of an evolution, if you will.
Yeah, that's great that you said that because even for me, my thing is just not eating. My thing is making sure I'm getting enough calories. And even with a lot of the people that I work with, that seems to be the thing. I don't. Some of it I think is uh, being told or reading somewhere that hey, just eat less. If you're trying to drop weight, just eat less and eat less calories. And sometimes that's not the case specifically with that person that they're eating too much. Sometimes what I in my experience, a lot of times they're already not eating enough, and then they drop that even more, and then it's like, okay, my body don't know what to do with this little amount of calories, so I'm just going to hold on to this until I'm just gonna hold on to this as long as I can, because you still need energy to do the regular day stuff like walking, getting up, standing up, blinking your eyes. Your body uses energy for everything. So,
Yes.
and you're not taking it in. So I'm just gonna hold on to it until you give me some more, because I don't know. I don't know when my next meal's gonna come, because you starving
Yeah.
me.
Well, and that's actually kind of an interesting thing, because by the time your clients get to you, they've made up in their mind that this is what I need to do. And so some of those initial changes, like if we go from eating too much, the pendulum swings completely in the opposite direction. And a lot of times when we're thinking, oh, weight loss, I need to cut back on my calories, like you said, we swing too far to the left. And so we're eating too little. But again, knowing that, like you said, our bodies require a certain amount of calories just to be able to breathe and sit here, not including our talking and maybe walking from the bed to the bathroom, those kind of calories. And we need that. And if you don't eat enough calories, and then all of a sudden you add exercise, intentional increased physical activity to that, then your body's going to say, well, whoa, we don't know when we're going to get a good supply of energy. We're just going to kind of hold on to this, for safekeeping. And then you just have this, conundrum, well, when it comes to how your body uses the food that you take in. So
Yeah,
it's a great point.
yeah, your body's gonna do what it wants to do. It's gonna do what is best. Your body will do what's best for it more
Yes.
than you will do what's best for your body. And that is like so interesting to me, how your body works. So like you were saying, the importance of learning how your body works and going with that flow, as opposed to trying to just, I'm gonna make you do what I want you to do. Like, no, as your body, I'm going to do what I need to do to survive and to function. I'm going to adapt the way I need to adapt, all these other things that I need to do.
Yep.
Once you learn, once you figure it out, let me know. Come back to me. We'll have that conversation. And that's
Exactly. Yep. And on so many levels too, even with like, a lot of people think when they start on their health journey that they need to like take a really good multivitamin. They need to take it like more than once a day. Our bodies can only handle so much at one time. So for example, if you're getting vitamin C, for example, from your food, and then you're taking a multivitamin that has these mega doses of vitamin C, your body can't process all of that at one time. So, what's it going to do? It's just going to get rid of it, and, the way our bodies use vitamin C that comes from food sources compared to supplement sources, our bodies much prefer the food source. And so it's probably going to get rid of most of that multivitamin. And so, that's again just one more example of how, like you said, our bodies are pretty selfish. They take what they need, they get rid of what we don't need or doesn't want. And, it's up to us to figure out what that looks like for each of us, if you will.
that is that is great. That's still so interesting to me. Like, I love talking about how the body works. That is a huge reason why I got into fitness in general.
Same.
Yeah, see, there you go. So because it makes sense to that there's a nutrition side to that. There's a food and energy side to that. Like, I mean, learning how the body works with certain sources of energy. And that's something I didn't know, that vitamin C, your body works differently with vitamin C from a supplement than it would from natural food sources. Now, I mean, I know that the body, for the most part, likes whole foods,
Yeah.
but that's a big thing. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show today, because I wanted to kind of touch on why it's important to come and see a professional who this is what I do, this is what I went to school for, this is what I learned, this is what I'm certified in, and not just, hey, I'm just going to go to this website and sift through these things. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right. What Wikipedia said, I don't know, but going to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. So, so what is for you I guess for you, why you try to encourage people to come to see you as opposed to other options?
Well, I think the biggest reason is because there's so many decisions that have to be made when it comes to food, so many scenarios. Everybody has their own individualized metabolism, body functions, things like that. I mean, you could have literally two people that are the exact same size, and one may be diabetic, one may not. Both those people are going to metabolize food and utilize food very differently. So I think it's important for, just to take the burden off yourself, to not have to figure out what that looks like for you. Because, number one, I've seen most things at this point. Like I said earlier, it's been about 17 years. So nothing, very little is new at this point for me. And so the other thing is that, a lot of times if you're just looking online for general information, it may not apply to you. So you may say, oh, I need to do keto. Okay. And, not knowing that, if your cholesterol levels are a certain way, or you may have some issues with your kidneys or whatnot, or, it could be anything that may affect how your body will respond to a keto diet. And so having somebody, like myself, that knows some of the ramifications of a keto diet on a healthy body, much less on someone with diabetes, someone with kidney issues, someone with heart disease, and maybe saying, okay, well, if you want to go low carb, let's do it this way so that we're not doing more harm than good. And you can still have your keto, I think, again, that makes it not only safer, but you're more inclined to stick to it and continue on the long haul because you're doing something that's not causing you harm. It's motivating, and it's what you need.
Absolutely. That's that's strong because again, man, it's so crazy how everybody's body is different, and how important that is to understand what your specific needs. I think that's just the general idea of this entire conversation. Yeah.
Well, and it's not too far off from what you do as a personal trainer, right? Because you may have two people come in, you may in your mind have a very similar or the same workout for them, but with person A, that workout might look a little different. They might not be able to lift as heavy, run as fast, there might not be as strong. So you have to tailor that workout to both those people, and food is the exact same way.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point because I mean, I do. I mean, you will if you're in the game long enough, you will deal with a little bit of everything, and that's the fun part of it because you yourself has been you're going to be challenged yourself in your field. Even me dealing with a lot of veterans, I get some of those disabled ones, and they're like, "Hey, listen, I still want to be able to do this." I remember this day when I was rucking and I was doing all this stuff and, I was at my best shape and I still want to be able to, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get back there, but I still want to be able to do this. And I'm like, hey, your leg is gone. And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Just give me that.
You're like, okay.
Like, okay, all right. I'm not going to tell you no.
Right.
Be like, hey, I mean, if it's to a certain extent or an area where I'm like, hey, this is definitely not my area, I'm going to refer you to somebody that I know that might be better in that area. However, outside of that, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna try to help the best as I can. Yeah, we're gonna get there together. So, it's gonna be that journey. Let's learn how, like you said, let's do this movement, or let's do this movement either with a different weight, a different style. I had a client one time that I was dealing with that their hand they had an incident where they lost like half their hand, like the top half of their hand. So obviously they didn't have any fingers, so they can't grip that bar. They can't grip a dumbbell. They, push up is obviously going to be a little bit difficult. I can't just be like, hey, we're doing pull-ups today. No, it's not. That's not going to be a thing.
Scratch that, yeah.
Right. So, And it's interesting how much you can uh, how much you don't understand or take for granted, certain things as far as you certain things, and especially in your field, not knowing, like you said, how your body reacts to certain things. Um, I hear people all the time. They're like, "Oh yeah, my friend did keto and they lost blah 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 weight, and I think I'm good." Like no information, no more information than that. Nothing else. They'll find keto recipes and they'll be like, "I'll go with this," and nothing else goes down,
Right.
and not know, like you said, that they're doing more harm than good. Their
Yeah,
bodies. That's super 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 important. Um,
it is.
so I have another question, kind of going into that, or kind of segueing. Um, I do also deal with a lot of vegetarians, a lot of vegans, and they're like, I still want to, lose this weight. And some of them losing weight, I might be a little bit easier, because they're like, okay, I'm not eating as much, red meat or things with as much cholesterol or something like that. So it might work a little bit better for that. But then you have those who are, trying to bulk, they're trying to gain weight, and that journey can be just as hard as somebody trying to lose weight. But they're trying to go vegan, trying to do vegetarian, trying to do something that they feel like might be better for them. Uh, Man, so what is, I guess, some of the things that you have to deal with, um, that might differ when they're trying to reach their goals as well?
Yeah, I think depending on, whether it's a weight loss or a weight gain goal, number one foundation is just figuring out what your needs are. How many calories do you need in order to function
Right.
every day? If you're exercising, then you got to tack that on. And so, if it's a weight gain goal, for example, figuring out what plant-based foods provide that are very nutrient dense, if you will.
Mhm.
So, for example, you've got your nuts, nut butters, your oils, plant-based oils, and even like fruits and vegetables like avocados, they're pretty nutrient dense, and so you're getting more bang for your buck in that sense.
Mhm.
And on the flip side, if you got somebody that's trying to lose weight, thinking about not only your volume of what you're eating, because we know that vegetables are the least nutrient dense, so we can eat a whole lot of those and not really have to be concerned. But when we think about grains and fruit, they have a little bit more calories per volume, and so making sure those fit, and then adding on those nuts, beans, legumes, all of that. So again, it's not an easy thing to figure out, but once it's figured out for you, you can generally stick to that particular pattern for the long haul. So again, figuring out, okay, which plants types do I need to include in what frequency or what volume, and then making sure that I'm not adding too much or tweaking or processing those things too much to where it's counteractive to my goals. Mhm.
So you telling me I just don't go out there and just get a bunch of spinach and kale and call myself vegetarian or vegan?
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to it.
It's a little bit more to it, and then on the flip side of that, you can't live off of veggie burgers and all this processed vegetarian meat every day
Mhm.
either. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
it's a balance.
that's yes, balance. It's all about balance. Even in fitness and
Yes,
nutrition, it's all about balance. And
it is.
when it comes down to it, it's about what balance is for you and not everybody else. So um, I definitely want to thank you so much for hanging out with us here and talking about what you have going on, and answer some of these questions. Hopefully, we'll get some people to come through and like, hey, listen, hey, I need to talk to you because I heard I heard that I'm not gonna be able to do it on my own, and this is where I'm
That's
at.
what I do. I'm
Yeah.
happy to do it, and this has been great. Really, again, I love talking to trainers that get it. That see the benefit of not only focusing on building strength, but also want to fuel that. properly and appropriately. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for
absolutely.
that.
Because you can't get one without the other, right?
That's right.
So, with that being said, tell us a little bit more about what you have going on, and tell us where we can find you.
Definitely. So, still coaching and counseling and training. My website is jmcallisterrd.com. You can find me there. I'm on IG, Nutritionista Jess. That's a long thing to spell. Hopefully, we'll get some captions. But Nutritionista Jess. I'm on Facebook, Jessica McAllister, registered dietitian / health educator, and on LinkedIn for all you professionals, Jessica McAllister. So find me.
Yeah, yes. And we're definitely going to have that information in the details and in the
Oh, yes.
yes.
Also, since I did mention my planner, I've got it right here.
Please,
And
yes.
it's available on Amazon. It's called Beginner to Boss Health Goals Planner. So you can find it on my website or on Amazon.
Awesome,
There
awesome,
we go.
awesome. Yeah, yes, that's the information that I want to make sure we get out. These planners and any other stuff that you have, because I know you have some blogs and stuff. I know you got some information. I had a chance to kind of go through your site, and you have a lot of information about fruits and veggies. You got information about going vegan or going vegetarian or something like that, and better ways to do that, and some recipes and stuff. So that's the stuff
All of
that.
that.
You're covering
Yeah.
all the bases. Like you're covering all the bases. It's like I'm like, okay, that's it. Yes, you got it on there, right
Yeah.
there. I mean, whatever you don't have, either you have a program for it, or you got a section where you're like, hey, Kermit the Frog.
Yes. Well, and that's what I wanted to do. I like it for the things that I do have a dollar amount attached to. There are just as many things that are free and open for people to access, because I don't want this to be hard. I don't want it to be inaccessible because of funds. I want to make sure that there's accurate evidence-based nutrition information out here for everyone to access. So yes.
Absolutely. And yeah, you do. You have a lot of stuff on there, because I was sifting through stuff. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep this for myself.
Don't be selfish.
Hey, I'm gonna share with all my clients. They're gonna know where to find you. They're gonna know where to get this information at. And that's the biggest thing for me, is knowing how to connecting everyone. Because I can't do everything, and let's be real. Any trainer who's like, yo, listen, I got this, and this, cool, that's great. I'm gonna let you know I can't do everything, and I can't help. There's too many people on this planet to think that you can help everybody. Don't be selfish.
That's
Listen,
right.
my goal is building a team, building a network of people, connecting people that, hey, I can't, even if I can help you, I might not have the time.
Right.
Only so many hours in a day. So, hey, let me refer you to somebody who knows what they're talking about. This is what they do. This is what they specialize in, and they can help you. And not only that, but again, we grow on each other. So that's the goal. Yes. So I want to say happy National Women's Month. Happy National Nutrition Month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. National Nutrition Month. Yes.
And thank you again so much for hanging out with us. Like I said, we're gonna put the information for everybody else in the details, so you'll know where to find. So you can know where to find Jessica and get more information. Check her out on Instagram, because she got some funny videos on there. She's gonna be like, "Oh, this woman is hilarious." So
just living life,
just food all the time. So
I was gonna say there's some food in there too.
Yeah, definitely some food in there. But yeah, definitely check her out when you guys get a chance, as soon as possible, sooner than later. Make sure you're heading to your goal and getting there properly, getting there quicker and just more healthy, as you can do it. So thank y'all for joining us. Hey, listen, be good. Thank God. Thank yourself. Love each other. All right, we out of here. Peace.